talked a lot, and Road Dogg just alluded to if Arthur Smith, kind of jokingly, took the job at North Carolina, would Dad's FedEx money come along with the NIL deals? And you kind of laugh at that and joke until you realize that's a real thing. So last week, the infiltrator Justin, who is a giant LSU fan, was up in arms that Bryce Underwood, the number one quarterback recruit in the country, flipped from LSU to Michigan. And on our text string, he kept going, they bought him, they paid for him, it's ridiculous. Well, that's kind of the way the college football is going, legally or illegally. That's where it's at. Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports, noted Michigan fan, went on a rant yesterday about how Underwood ended up at Michigan.
It all stemmed from the pick'em when we were just talking. I said, I'm going to go get us a quarterback, and I'll put my own money, $2 to $3 million into this thing, and I'll make sure we have a quarterback, and this will never happen again. That started the ball rolling on what will be known forever as the Renaissance of Michigan. I got a call from the Michigan football team, right? And they said, hey, there's this donor who wants to talk to you. I said, I'm doing this myself. I don't need to talk to anybody. They said, please. This woman's a big fan of Barstool, big fan of you. She'd love to talk to you. Her name is Jolyn. They said, oh, her husband, by the way, is a guy by the name of Larry Ellison. You ever heard of him?
All right, so he'll go on in a second and tell you about this Larry Ellison character.
Isn't he the founder of Oracle?
He very well is.
Oh,
and
he might be worth some money.
You talk about deep pockets and everything else, but the fascinating thing is that somebody's wife, who's a huge fan of Michigan and an alum, and kids are wearing jerseys and running around, is so sick and tired of not only what it looked like this year,
right,
but what she went through when she was there with Brady Hoke and everybody else.
So if you look at quarterback right now for Michigan this year, now granted, J.J. McCarthy, they won a national title. He's in the NFL. They have started 3 different quarterbacks this year. Combined, they're completing 61% of their passes, 1,541 yards passing combined.
That's awful.
It's week 11, week 12. That's like 150 yards a game. They have 11 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. This is why Dave Portnoy continues and says, we need a quarterback.
Larry Ellison, like the number 2 richest guy on the planet? Yeah, I'll take that phone call. That night, we're on a Zoom. Me, Jolyn, Larry Ellison. And we're talking, and I'm like, Larry, where'd you go to school? Oh, Illinois. Well, all right. Jolyn, what about you? Michigan. And she said, we're the national champs. I have 2 kids. I can't stomach waking up on a Saturday knowing that we're not the best team on the field. I said, I'm with you. What do we have to do? What do we have to do? I know what we'll do. Let's set up a call tomorrow night with Bryce Underwood and his parents.
Dude, is that even... I didn't even know you could do something like this.
I thought that part was supposed to be illegal, that you weren't supposed to use NIL to entice a recruit to come. I thought that was the one thing that was completely outlawed.
I guess as the school themselves like pitching that, but the individuals that are
businesses.
Doing... Right.
Hey, look, your NIL deal is... We're going to sign you to an NIL deal with Barstool Sports and Oracle if you come to Michigan.
The backstory here as well, before we hear the end of this thing, which is fascinating, LSU has probably put tens of thousands of dollars into recruiting this kid over the last 3 years, watching him grow, watching him become who he is, and spending time and effort and energy trying to build a team around this young quarterback, 5-star whatever, and he's just going to get bought by somebody else.
And by the way, Larry Ellison's net worth as of today, $224.76 billion. Here's the remainder from Dave Portnoy.
And we talked and we pitched Bryce. I said, listen, first of all, Barstool and the marketing, but more importantly, Larry Ellison and Jolyn, nobody can match this. This guy's a legend. And we pitched, but oh boy, Michigan's back. And I didn't know how it would come about of the role I would play. But Jolyn, on that first phone call, she's like, I needed somebody to step up from Michigan and show that they cared as much as I did. And then it was like the mega powers uniting.
This guy loves talking about himself.
The mega. Do you know who the mega powers are?
I do not.
That would be Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage. They teamed together to be the mega powers.
Amazing.
Michigan right now has the 9th ranked recruiting class in the country for 2025. LSU, after losing Bryce Underwood, fell to number 6. So both of them are doing fine when it comes to recruiting. This is the reality of what college football recruiting is now becoming.
No, it's ridiculous.
This is a part of the reality. And look, I've been very open. I want kids to make their money. Name, image, and likeness, I'm for. This, I'm not for.
104.5 ESPN, I think down there in probably New Orleans, Baton Rouge, thank you. This character, I don't know who he is, but he laid it out as well and talked through the entire situation. It was like sick to his stomach going through this entire deal, how it took place, what happened, and how he was pretty much bought right away from Bryce Underwood was bought away from LSU.
So basically, if your school doesn't have billionaire donors that are willing to do something like this, good luck. The collectives are fine. Look, I donate my $25 a month, whatever. Other people are donating $1,000 a month. That's all fine. When you have somebody that's $224 billion, $5 million to him is pocket change. He loses and gains that about every 5 minutes on the stock market. Like, to be honest with you, that guy doesn't care about giving $10 million to a quarterback.
Fascinating turn of events and story. And I don't know if it's is it a warning sign for things to come in the future? Think it is. And how do you stop it? And should you stop it?
There needs to be regulations of some sort. I thought, and the wording was supposed to be, you cannot entice recruits from the school that want to go out and go to your school because of NIL deals. The problem is when you have boosters who are not affiliated with the school that are circumventing the situation. And I mean, Dave Portnoy literally is as open and as honest, maybe too honest. Dave Chappelle used to do a thing when keeping it real goes wrong. You wonder if this comes back to bite him somewhere down the road.
He is not afraid to tell you about himself and what he's doing and how important he is.
Because he loves himself.
But he has done an unbelievable job building his brand and Barstool and everything else. So really interesting, fascinating. I didn't even know it was a thing that could happen, but that is really devastating for LSU and their fan base and coaching staffs have been putting time and effort in. You do feel bad for him. I got no ill will towards LSU.
You know, Matt, I don't hate LSU. I actually, my wife and her whole family cheers for LSU. I have a soft spot for them. I don't particularly care for Brian Kelly.
Right.
I think he's a jackwagon. Their football program by itself is usually pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
But this is sad for them. I mean, you put all of this into a kid, and now he's gone. The funny thing is now that it's out in the open, it's different. Nico Iamaleava, there was reports that he got an $8 million NIL deal to go to Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah.
But that was all kind of rumors and innuendos. Did he get this? Did he not? Jaden Rashada, the rumor and innuendo was he got $13 million to go to Florida, and then the checks didn't cash, and he ended up at Arizona State and ultimately transferred to Georgia. This is out in the open. They made a phone call to this kid and their parents. Can you imagine being that parent? Hey, we've got a Larry Ellison and we've got Dave Portnoy on the phone. No, you don't. Yeah, that's exactly what you're thinking. That phone call never happened, but it actually did happen.